let's take it back to like a Young Lyxx, like a young Lyxx. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Tell me what your upbringing was like, your family, like how'd your hustle first like originate? I want to know where that came from.
I mean, I moved around a lot. San Diego to New Orleans, back to San Diego to Oceanside to Atlanta, now LA. Um, I've been all over as far as traveling. But I mean, my upbringing, I was never like settled in one place for too long. So I think like now that has an impact on my hustle as far as like venturing out everywhere and kind of like always sticking and moving. Like I hate being in one place too long. That kind of like made me like that from my upbringings. But I mean, it was fun, man. I loved every place I lived in. I feel like I made an impact everywhere I live. I lived in the right places at the right time. I lived in New Orleans while, Cash Money and No Limit, that whole era.
Gave
Look,
you a whole different perspective on
yeah,
the game.
I lived in Atlanta while that was kind of like really turning all the way up. Now I'm back in LA where all the business is taken care of. So shit. And San Diego, man, that's my hometown. I feel like we'll grow our like business scene on the entertainment side someday. It's kind of coming together.
Yeah, the past like I want to say like 24 months, you've seen a little bit more progress than.
Nah, for sure, man. For sure. It's definitely progressing, but it's gonna take a lot more people to come together and kind of give it that push for it to be like a LA.
No, you definitely right. I feel like people just need to like work a more solid program because I feel like you see San Diego niggas get a hit, get their first million plays, and then they don't drop a full tape for a year, 18 months.
Either that or they don't be moving out their city.
Yeah, they
You know
don't
what
be
I'm
meeting
saying?
nobody.
Like you could get a million plays in your city, but it's like how I look at that shit is like there's artists that even like when I was living in Atlanta, there was artists that was doing like a million plays only in Atlanta though. So it's like you don't really want to get caught up in that. It's like take those numbers from your hometown and then move out and use that as leverage to kind of like broaden yourself in other places. You know, I feel like you don't ever want to get stuck on numbers or hometown love. You want to kind of like expand if that's your mission. Some people just want to be hometown heroes, so that might be cool for them. But I feel like for people that's really trying to take it to that next level, you kind of got to like use that momentum that you built in your city and use it as leverage to go to these other cities and turn up. Same way you did in your hometown.
I feel like people are like fighting that fear of the unknown, fear of having to meet a whole new clique of people.
It's just a comfort level. I mean, shit, when you're used to one thing, it's kind of like, you know, you're kind of stuck in that comfort zone. But once you get out of that, you never know what waits on the other side of that door.
Yeah, because if you look at all the artists coming out of San Diego right now, like they're maneuvering all throughout the country. Whether you see like a little Maru over here in New York and then on tour with Phoenix Flexin, or a little Weirdo going up and down the state working with all these different artists. That's what's really going to make you a household name as you keep applying pressure in all these markets that you wouldn't be able to intercept otherwise. You actually have to implant yourself there instead of expecting people to find you organically, because honestly that shit ain't realistic.
I agree.